Tuesday, July 8th. We got the moving truck first thing in the morning and loaded pretty quickly, minus a few things we had to get on the way. We were done by like 10 a.m., so I was hopeful to get to the point around midday, get a good solid half day in. Well, my buddy didn't manage his time well and had to do his last minute running around that morning, and it kept delaying us and delaying us. But then, once we hit the road, he needed to stop at Target for some very specific hardware. Bougie brat. He ended up delaying us so long it wasn't even worth it to ride the rails. So, might as well slip and slide my way through the night, so I booked a room at the Kalahari Resort in Sandusky, Ohio. Just kidding. By the time we got to Cedar Point, it was almost 8 p.m. So much for that half day, but we made the best of 2 hours at the point, and we made out pretty good all things considered. He hadn't been to Cedar Point since 2013. He was itching to get shaken to bits by Mean Street, get his body and boys smashed on Mantis, and twisted like a pretzel on Wicked Twister. He was delightfully disappointed to find out that wouldn't happen. He wanted to get on anything that was new, so Rougarou, Val Raven, Steel Vengeance, Wild Mouse, Top Thrill 2, Siren's Curse, and even though he had no recollection of it, Gatekeeper, even though I remembered him doing it and specifically showed him the picture from the day we went. As well, if lines were down, anything good, specifically Maverick. Clearly not happening with 2 hours and some serious done luck. We were spending the night in Sandusky anyways, so we would try to hit anything we wanted that we didn't get to tonight the next morning. That night, we got 4 rides. First up, Raptor. I forgot how whippy and forceful this invert was. It absolutely tears through its course. Layout is great with the 7 inversions. My only gripe, and it might be because I'm a little bit on the bigger side, is those older B&M clamshells aren't as accommodating as its newer ones on its floorless cousins. I fit fine, but for some reason, at least to me, the floorless and the newer ones give a little bit more breathing room. I'd be okay with the vest restraints like on Banshee, but I know that's an unpopular opinion. This was also the first time I had been on this coaster in almost a decade, so it was great to get back on it, as I've had a debate amongst myself as to which of these two monsters of Ohio's inverts are my favorites, Banshee or Raptor. I'd have the answer to this the next day. As for my back, I was nervous about the Cobra roll, as the one on the boomerang at Worlds of Fun borderline killed me, but it didn't even faze me on this, nor any of the other positives. Next up was Blue Streak. I've been coming to Cedar Point since 2013, and this is now the second time I've ridden this ride. First trip, last trip, with the same person. How ironic. This has some solid airtime, however, it could benefit from some of that pre-cut track like the Beast. And, like Predator, I'd like some GCI trains, but the PTCs are fine if they want to keep that old-timey feel. I enjoy this. I will be seeking it out on my next visit, but only if it's a walk-on or a short wait. My buddy was not happy with this, and I said, dude, we got 8 more wooden coasters on this trip. Gear up. Next up was Rougarou. I still like this better than Mantis. It's got a good layout, but the end does have some headbanging to it. Again, not so much for myself as my head clears the restraints, but I can see this being a bother for others. That drop and loop is amazing, and the views of the Top Thrill 2 spike, especially if a train's going up it, is spectacular. Body-wise, nothing to complain about on this ride. So it was time to figure out the big decision of the night. What would be our last ride of the night, and which of the 2 new ones was it going to be? Top Thrill 2 or Siren's Curse? I, having been on the original Top Thrill dragster enough to know, if the weather is not looking good the next day, and it's running right now, get in line. So, I checked, and there was a slight chance of rain. Rain hitting you at 120 miles per hour or 70 miles per hour? Seems like a no-brainer to me. I chose to ride Top Thrill 2, at the time, the world's tallest roller coaster, now overtaken by Falcon's Flight at Six Flags Qiddiya City. A milestone for me when I was sitting at home recovering from my surgery, seeing King Dakar give its final rides and unfortunately imploded, thinking there's no way I could ever say I rode the tallest roller coaster in the world, again, at the time. But God blessed me with that chance on this night, and I was ready. So, it became our night ride and our final ride of the day. Now, I will just say, my back held on so well for this ride, and it was a coaster experience that will be burned in my brain forever. However, I'm I'm not going to go into the specifics in this video because I've got enough for a whole review, which is already up on the channel. So if you want to hear my thoughts on Top Thrill 2, go check out that video. Completed our day at Cedar Point. Well, we needed something to eat, so we went to Applebee's for a quick bite before hitting the hotel, and would plan to hit up the park early the next morning. Okay, so day 2 of this road trip, and my 3rd day straight of riding coasters for me. We used our gold passes with the All Park Passport to get us in for early entry. After checking the options, which wasn't much, Top Thrill 2, Millennium Force, or Gatekeeper. We chose Gatekeeper. I don't know why this seems to get so much hate. It's a great ride, but again, this is the only wing coaster I've been on. Its location and setting and theme are on point. It's got floater airtime on that hill. It can happen. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but it can, and when it does, it's awesome. Solid inversions, hang time on the wing over. What's not to like? Then we debated on going on Top Thrill 2 again, since it was on the early entry, or getting in line for the line that was forming for Siren's Curse, as it was already up to the coaster's restaurant. We decided to wait for Sirens. They put us in the queue shortly after park opening. We were past the switchbacks, so it felt promising to us. However, they were having technical issues. This turned into a very delayed opening. We said we would wait it out. While most people left, it put us right in front of the metal detectors and the lockers. We waited probably an hour and 30 minutes. That is including the time before the ride opened. So an hour inside the queue, half hour before the ride actually opened in the park. We were rewarded, though, for our patience. We were on the first train of the day, and the line wasn't up to the switchback yet, so we ran around for another lap. Overall, Siren's Curse, man. I need more New Age Vekoma. Tilt or not, the restraints on this thing are top tier. This thing has a very, very good layout. The best way to describe this is take the holding brake from Valraven, add airtime from Steel Vengeance, the whippy snaps from Maverick, and what arguably might be the best theming on a coaster in this park that isn't in Frontier Town. Add an onboard soundtrack that absolutely rocks, and you possibly have the best new coaster of the year. Seriously, if you're on the fence on whether you want to go to Cedar Point to ride this, go. Heck, if you're closer to Codaland, I don't know how Circuit Breaker is, because it's probably lacking the theming, it's probably not got an onboard soundtrack, but you know what? Go, ride this thing. Those of you up in Canada waiting for Mindbender's replacement, you've got something good coming. Seriously, the wait has been worth it, and I'm sure once more of these New Age Vekomas pop up around the US, we're all going to be begging for forgiveness for making fun of the boomerangs and SLCs. You can mark my words on that one and come after me later. After that, we debated our game plan for the day, as it was already about noon, and we had about a 2 to 3 hour drive to get to Kings Island that night, and wanted to finish the day there for some night rides. Beast! So we decided to head to the back of the park and make a judgment call. The hour-long wait for Maverick, or a 25-minute wait, turned to 45 by the time we rode it for Steel Vengeance. We chose Steel Vengeance, which I was nervous about, not only for me, but because my buddy, Phil, lives near Magic Mountain, and he, at the time, couldn't get on Colossus, kept having issues with the restraint. I don't know. Fast forward later, he finally did go on it, and he had no issues, so maybe he was just dumb. I don't know. Somehow we got him on it, and got him the green light, so with that, I don't know what the issues were, so we went for it. I, however, was nervous that getting yeeted, like no tomorrow, was going to kill me. But I was worrying for nothing, because I held out just fine and was unbothered at the exit and had another amazing ride on this RMC beast. This is still my number 3 overall coaster. Getting airtime like it's a bucking bronco trying to throw you into next year in possibly every direction. Definitely the crown jewel of Cedar Point next to Top Thrill 2. After that, we walked toward the front of the park, knowing he needed Valraven and the Wild Mouse, which he was fine with skipping because of time, even though he loved spinning coasters and later on would look at me and go, "We should have went on that thing." I told him we could have. I also wanted to get on Magnum, but it was down, so that would become a skip. I guess I will find out if I love this coaster or hate this coaster the next time I come back, because the last 2 times I've tried to figure this out, it always seems to close. Maybe that's a sign. We debated what we should do. We debated going on Top Thrill 2 again. It was an hour wait, and by this time it was about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And we debated getting a single fast lane for it. That was about $35 each, and I was all for it. He was like, no, save our money. That's dumb. I agreed with him. Reluctantly. But we did agree to end the day with Valraven. I still think this is a criminally underrated ride, but I will confess that the only other dives I've been on are Yukon and Emperor, so maybe that's why. Again, like Gatekeeper, I have no issues with the vests, and still prefer them. The drop has spectacular airtime, solid inversions, hang time on that 0G roll, and a pop of airtime on that last little airtime help. Short and sweet, but gives you all you need. Sounds like a Sabrina Carpenter song. I would like it longer, sure, but my only complaint about it this time around was just some serious brake checking at the end, which is kind of unusual if you think about it. Overall, this was a solid trip to Cedar Point, and I see a return visit when I head home next year most likely, especially if I still have a gold pass with All-Park Passport. Ops were great and the wait times were not bad. Granted, we did hit it on a weekday, right after the 4th of July, so all those big crowds kind of subsided. Smart on our part, but I know that could have gone either way. We might have gotten lucky with this, but who knows. We felt successful and ready to get some food and make the trek towards Cincinnati and Kings Island and end our day up there. However, we encountered a rather strange phenomenon along the way.
Good evening. As you may remember from a previous video, there was a field of corn. Now I'm back in that same field of corn. Did I choose to be here? No. I was abducted by aliens and landed in this field of corn 33 hours ago from my home in Tahiti, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Why am I still in this field of corn? I'm stuck here in eternal damnation, surrounded by corn. Help me, please.